Black Lives Matter was a big deal and has always been a big deal, and it originally started in 2013 after the Trayvon Martin killing by Andrew Zimmerman, and it sparked a lot of controversy because he got off killing a 17-year-old black kid basically scot free, and nothing came upon him, and he was found not guilty by the court system, and that sparked a lot of controversy in the United States and ultimately all around the world. And the Black Lives Matter was born in 2013, and it was made by Lisa Garza, who was one of the co-founders of the Black Lives Matter movement. And she started putting hashtags and about certain killings and certain injustice done to black people in the United States. And in 2013, the social media wasn't as popular. I mean, it's popular, but the live streams and the live feeds weren't as popular as they are right now. And she brought that upon to basically tell everybody that, hey, this isn't okay, you know. And ever since then, the Black Lives Matter thing has been every situation that happens to a black person that's wrong or people feel that's done wrong, people record it, and that's what started the Black Lives Matter thing. And then other killings happened, like George Floyd and Eric Garner in New York, and George Floyd in Missouri, when they got killed innocently. And it's a big deal, and it was something that we tried to have to fix and get a hold of before it sprouted out and got really bad. But now it's gotten pretty bad. So that's initially why she started that, because she was, tired of all the innocent black people being killed, and that's something that she wanted to try to stop while she could. And like I said, prior to 2013, nobody was really recording anything and posting it on social media or saying things like this was happening to black people until she made the big deal out of it after the Trayvon Martin killing and started putting hashtags on all the social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, just to name a few of those things that she started to try to bring the light to about black people being killed innocently in the United States. And Trayvon Martin was one of the first ones to happen. Then in New York City, Eric Garner was an innocent man asking for a cigarette, basically, and had some kind of nonviolent warrants or something like that against him, and the police put him in a chokehold and took a whole bunch of police officers to subdue him, and ultimately caused him his life. He ended up being choked to death in New York City, and it was all put on. It was all recorded. So if it would have never been recorded, nobody would have ever been able to bring the justice for Mr. Gardner the way that it did so swiftly, because it was a videotape out and it showed moments from the beginning to the end of the situation of him being killed. And that was something that people didn't really do before, but now since the whole Trayvon Martin situation happened, it sparked it, and it started making it more easier to record things and people not to be afraid to record things if they felt like somebody was getting done wrong. And Black Lives Matter wasn't just to say that Black lives were the only ones that mattered, but it was just to say that Black Lives Matter as well too. It's sometimes that people felt like black people were not being given the opportunity and not being heard as much, and their lives didn't matter. So somebody had to try to take it upon themselves to try to let you know that black lives do matter. And when those things happened to Mr. Gardner, it sparked the outrage in New York, and ultimately the police officers that were involved in the situation uh, got criminally charged and charged with killing Mr. Gardner as well. And then um, uh, in May of 2020, Eric Garner, I'm correct, I'm sorry, George Floyd in Minneapolis, Minnesota, was paying for a cigarette using a counterfeit $20 bill, and ultimately it cost him his life. And the police came across him, and they knew his prior history or whatever happened to him before, and they basically killed him. And then that was like the straw that broke the camel's back. I mean, it's just like it sparked a whole lot of protest and stuff in the United States that really shouldn't have happened if that wouldn't have happened. And just because it happened, it just sparked an outrage, and people were just tired of it. And that's just the way that that's the way that it is nowadays. That people aren't going to take things that they used to be able to take back in the days, and they're not going to be quiet about it anymore. And they're going to use their voice on any way, shape, form, or fashion, no matter if it's in the books, on social media, in person. It don't matter. They're going to use their voice to show that they're fed up and tired of all the innocent killings in the United States. And that's just basically what Black Lives Matter was. It's just basically a movement, an event that was sparked by innocent killing of a black teenager, and now has always led to all the protesting and the rioting and the looting and stuff that shouldn't be happening still, but it is happening, to try to get people to see what black people are trying to get them to see. And that's what it is. So I really appreciate you guys listening to me and listen to my speech and my formative speech about Black Lives Matter and just how important it really is to people nowadays. So I hope everybody has a good rest of their day, and thank you for listening again.